We've all been there, continuously breaking and placing down a lectern to cycle through a librarian's trades. But every once in a while, the librarian just doesn't seem to care. In this video, we'll take a close look at a librarian's work behavior to precisely understand what's going on here and how we can fix other restocking issues as well. The first thing we need to know is that their work behavior is split up into two actions. They can first of all claim a profession using a nearby workstation, and then they can also work at their workstation to reset their trades. The reason I'm drawing a line between these actions is because they both have different requirements, which a lot of people forget. Now, to claim a profession, the villager's feet just have to be within a 2-block radius of the workstation. So, for example, this would count. This can lead to funny arrangements, though, where you've got a 1-block gap between the villager and its workstation if you nudge the villager all the way to the side of the block. Like this, the villager is never going to be able to restock, though, because working at a workstation and therefore restocking has other requirements. For this, the workstation has to be in one of these 17 blocks, so that the 8 blocks around the villager's feet count and also the 9 blocks below them. Additionally, it also has to be some time in the game between 8 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But once both of those criteria match, we can put a workstation here, and as we can see, the villager is going to claim it. We can also put a workstation here, and this one is also going to be claimed. We can also put one there, although now we have to probably get rid of this block so the villager can actually see the workstation, and there we go. Now, because this workstation here from the villager before is outside of this 17-block space, this villager, even though it can claim a profession, is never going to be able to restock its trade and actually work at this workstation. If a workstation, however, is not within this range, then the villager will look further, and if it finds one over here, it will try to reach it. It will try to pathfind towards it. There is just this one tiny issue with that, because we as a player put the villager in a prison cell, making it unable to reach that desired workstation. Though even in its prison cell, this villager is not going to simply give up on that workstation. In fact, it will try to reach it for another 60 seconds before it searches for other unclaimed workstations in the area. If no others are found, then it will simply try again on the same one immediately. Now, during these 60 seconds, the villager is essentially frozen, meaning it's not going to bother about any other workstations that might be closer. And this workstation is also blocked during these 60 seconds to any other villager trying to find another workstation. As you can imagine, this is going to cause problems in multiple areas. The most common problem will occur when cycling through trades, because every time you break the workstation, the villager might accidentally look at a different one, meaning that if you place another workstation, it's going to take at least another 60 seconds until it can refocus on this intended workstation again. If this happens, then there's a workstation nearby, like this barrel, that's not been claimed yet. So make sure you don't have any decorative barrels or any of these other blocks in your trading hall. If somehow the villager still gets distracted, then it's probably looking at other workstations that are supposed to be claimed by other villagers but somehow aren't. The reason for this is that the closest villager to a workstation isn't guaranteed priority. So situations can arise where the blue villager is looking over at the red villager's workstation. He's trying to restock there. And this yellow villager, therefore, can look at the blue villager's workstation. This leaves the red one without a workstation, of course. This can happen regardless of whether these villagers already have professions or not. So it can also lead to restocking issues. By themselves, these villagers are not going to be able to swap workstations back to normal again. A temporary fix would be to break all of these workstations and place them down, making sure that every villager is looking at the right workstation. As you can see here, the yellow one is looking at the red one, so we have to break it again and make sure that only the red one is looking at this workstation, and the yellow one is looking at this one, and the blue one is looking at this one. There we go. Keep in mind, though, this is just a temporary fix, and depending on the design of the trading hall and the number of workstations, this issue could reoccur again. There is a more permanent fix, though, and for that I've built up this one-wide tileable design because with these, the restocking issue is the most common due to the close placement of all the villagers and all the lecterns. As you can see here, we've got 3 villagers, but one of them isn't going to be able to restock. Now, I've downloaded this data pack for the world where we can see the workstation that belongs to each villager. We can type in this command, and we can see that this villager is linked up to the blue workstation. And if we type it for the blue one, we can see the blue one is linked up to the red workstation. That's because if you remember from the beginning of the video, the villagers can actually claim and work at workstations in all of the 8 blocks around their feet and also the 9 blocks below, meaning you are not going to notice these issues on these 2 villagers because they will still be able to reset their trades. The problem lies with the red villager though, because these 2 workstations have been claimed, and let's say there's another villager here that uses this workstation, and this one is also going to be claimed. He does not have any workstation to reset its trade, so it's going to look for the closest one. Of course, the one from the yellow villager is going to be free. And it also doesn't matter how long we let this run. We can sprint the game. This is not going to fix itself on its own. What we can do, though, is we can go behind all of this and just place another lectern on this block here. You can place these every 2 or 3 blocks and it should work. But what this does is it gives the villager another workstation to focus on. So if we have this constellation right here, sprint the game again, we can see that this villager is going to look for a different workstation. Maybe it's going to find the one at the back. Maybe these other villagers are going to find another workstation. And if we run the find workstation command again, we can see this one is in fact using the workstation over here behind. So like this, all villagers are able to reset their trades again, even if it's not the workstation in front of them. It's important to note, though, that you should only be placing these extra workstations in once all the villagers you have in your trading hall are already locked in with their trades. If you remember from this example where the villager was looking at the barrels, this would happen again with new villagers. They would just simply look at these excess workstations or any other workstations that aren't claimed yet. Now, if your villagers are still not behaving, maybe the problem doesn't lie with them, but rather with the way they're treated. Maybe it's time to give the villagers a few more rights and to treat them with at least a little bit of respect. They are, after all, providing us with loads of endgame items that are otherwise very time-consuming to obtain. I hope this video could help you understand villager working behavior a lot better though. And if you still have questions or your villagers still have problems restocking even though you are treating them a lot better now, hopefully, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll try my best to respond to every question. But do keep in mind that I'm primarily a Java player and do not have a lot of experience on Bedrock. Nevertheless, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to like and subscribe to this channel because I'm currently updating the villager swapper from my last video and I'm sure you wouldn't want to miss out on that. Other than that, have a nice day. Goodbye.